Ho ho ho, you guys! My name is Santa Claus, and no, I'm joking. Sorry guys, I was supposed to be wearing my regular Santa hat today, but at this point, oh my god, it's not even staying on my face. I can't even find it right now, so this is legit the best thing I can do. I know the beard is a bit far away from my face right now, but like I said, I want to keep it Christmas, but this is like the only thing I could find that actually fits me. So you know, I'm gonna see, maybe I'll have to use one of my smaller Santa hats next time if I can't find the one that I generally use, because it's like the only one that can actually fit my head except for this one. But anyway, I just hope it's not too distracting this time. Oh my god. It's not even staying on. But anyway, so today's, oh, I'm not even focusing. Today we have Iceman. He's returning and he's going up against Blizzard. Now both of these characters are very known for using ice, controlling ice, you know, creating their own ice, but which one would actually win in a one-on-one fight to the death? Well, that's what I'm here for. So, who'd win and why? Let's find out. So first I'm going to talk about Iceman. Now Iceman's been on here before, but there's a decent chance you have not seen that other video, Iceman versus Killer Frost, so I'm just going to go over everything again. So Iceman, obviously he's a mutant and he's known for creating his own ice. He can create ice, control ice, manipulate ice in many different ways, and can obviously lower his own body temperature and turn himself, like his whole body, until it's to snow or ice and anything like that. He has been known to control ice on a molecular level and can even turn it into water and turn water back into ice and even unfreeze matter. So that's something very cool that he can do. He's also been shown to manipulate his ice in many different ways. He can use it as a ramp, you know, that he can slide up across, you know, to give him a speed advantage, or like just, you know, do it just because, in case he needs to get somewhere fast, or I don't even know any other reason why he would do it. But he can also do it almost like in a Green Lantern type way. You know how like Green Lantern makes his own constructs? Well, assuming that Iceman has enough ice, which as long as he makes it himself, he does, he can create ice and snow constructs that can work just like regular machines and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, if it's like a machine gun or something that he makes out of ice, he would have to fire ice bullets, unless he has some bullets on him. But you know, that's something cool. You know, he can pretty much like use ice in any way that he wants to. He's shown to be very versatile and very creative when it comes to this, and can pretty much make pretty much anything, whether it be like a weapon or just like literally anything, but it has to be made out of ice, obviously, which can limit things, but not too much. So I still think that's very cool. When it comes to his actual like physical attributes, Iceman is actually a pretty good athlete. So he doesn't have like Captain America level stats or anything like that. He's not a super soldier, but he does have like above average level stats, including strength, speed, durability. I'll actually come back to durability soon. And you know, like, he is also a pretty good fighter. You know, he's been in the Danger Room, and he's fought with other X-Men, and he obviously does have a lot of combat experience. Not only has he fought characters like Juggernaut and Magneto with the X-Men's help, obviously, but on his own, he's also fought Thor, like 1v1, and he's actually, I believe, he's stalemated with him, or at the very least, he put up a good fight, and he didn't die. And he's actually been able to hold back the Hulk with his ice before, for a few minutes. So that means that his ice is not, he can not only create it quickly, but it also means that it's very tough, and you know, it can hold back people, and it's, you know, it's very tough, it's very durable, his own ice that he creates. So that's pretty cool as well. When it comes to his own durability, however, he can actually create, like, make his own body completely made out of, like, solid ice, like a translucent form, which pretty much means that he can reassemble himself whenever he gets damaged or destroyed, or even, like, shot. He can actually just, like put himself back together, or even if he gets, like, blown to pieces, blown to bits, he can actually come back, and like reform himself. If it was ever that he had to, you know, like if he was ever thrown to the sun or anything, or like completely destroyed, obviously you wouldn't be able to come back from that. But it does mean that if he's ever like shot or anything like that, or just like ripped in half, he can come back together. So I think that's very cool. And he only got this new form, like his ice form, I believe fairly recently, and it's the form that he uses most often now, you know, should the worst happen. It increases his durability and obviously gives him a pretty awesome healing factor. So that's pretty cool. Another thing is that he can lower his body temperature from the regular human body temperature, which I believe is like 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way down to absolute zero in seconds. And remember, absolute zero is when molecular movement stops, and you can't really get any colder than that. So that's extremely you know, that's very impressive, to lower your own body temperature that quickly, and, you know, like, such a dramatic drop. That's very impressive. In my book, that's very impressive. And it does mean that he is immune to other cold attacks, assuming that they're not colder than the current state that he's in, you know, like, depending on his own body temperature. And he obviously can shoot ice out. He has actually made ice that's sharp enough to pierce through Thor. Like I said, he did fight Thor once by himself. So that's very interesting. Not interesting. That's very impressive. So that means his ice is durable. It's very tough if he really wants it to be. It is obviously cold. He can make it as cold as he wants, and he can pretty much do it he can pretty much make anything he wants, assuming he has enough snow and ice. So again, that's very impressive, and he has fought in the Danger Room, and he is a pretty good hand-to-hand fighter. Obviously, again, not to the level of anyone like Captain America, or maybe not even Spider-Man, but he is still, he can still hold his own if he really needs to. And he's fought with the X-Men many times before, obviously more times than not, but even when he's not with the X-Men, he has done some incredible things. Even when he's just working with Spider-Man and Firestar, which those three have actually worked together many times before, he is doing very impressive things. And he has shown to be freezing, making a ton of ice in seconds, freezing someone very quickly, in a block of ice, getting around on his ice ramps very quickly, making things extremely quickly. So he's been able to manipulate his ice very quickly, and also to the full extent I feel that he could, making anything he really wants to out of ice. That's very impressive. I feel, again, I keep saying things are impressive, but it really is. Iceman is a mutant with nearly complete control over ice and, water to a molecular level. He can freeze it and unfreeze it whenever he wants. And, I just think that's extremely cool. Now moving on to Blizzard. Now, Blizzard has not been on this show before, and Blizzard is, some of you may not know him, and he is a character mainly known for Iron Man's Rogues Gallery. He has fought other characters like the Avengers as well. That's mainly the other, the other people that he's fought, but generally it's when all the Avengers are together, and it's when he's with, another group of villains. You guys get what I'm saying. But who is he? So Blizzard is an Inhuman. He was affected by the Terrigen Mist, and he actually has electrical powers. I know that's probably not what some of you guys were thinking, but he does have cold powers as well, but I'll get to that later. So his Inhuman abilities actually allow him to manipulate electricity, and I believe he can actually shoot it out. Maybe not to the same extent or power as Electro or someone like that who's very electrically charged, but he can still do it, and it is powerful enough to malfunction Iron Man suits. Now I'm assuming that this just means the regular Iron Man suits, not something like the Endosim or maybe not even Hulkbuster, and they have been shown to malfunction before, so it's not like the Iron Man suits were before this, it's oh, they're unmalfunctionable, but I think it's still pretty impressive to malfunction a whole suit. That's some power you got there. However, that's not what he's most known for. With his suit that he has, he gets enhanced strength, speed, endurance. I believe, obviously, some more durability. It is his own power suit. If you saw the thumbnail, you got a brief glimpse of what he looks like, and he does have his own suit. But what is most known for is his ability to shoot ice from his hands, I believe. So, he can shoot ice. He can even do different things with his ice. He can, freeze someone in a solid block. He can even create ramps like Iceman to travel up and down, and he has been shown to create different things with his ice and freeze a whole room in 30 seconds, and the room was, I forget the dimensions, but just know that it's an above average it's above average room when it comes to overall volume, and he did it in 30 seconds, completely frozen solid. Again, I don't remember the exact feat, so you guys probably don't really know what I'm talking about, but the point is he can pack a very powerful punch with his ice, and he can do it very quickly. So his ice can actually go to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 0 degrees Celsius, which is freezing temperature. So that's obviously very impressive, and that's obviously very cold. And his suit is obviously has to be designed to withstand the electrical charges that's in his own body and the freezing, meaning that his suit should be capable of withstanding temperatures and attacks that are 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. So that means he does have some durability, not only when it comes to striking power, but also when it comes to, just other people when they're trying to freeze you. So again, very impressive, and it is something that will help him a bit in this battle, obviously, when he's fighting other cold characters, or people that use cold abilities. So this guy, when it comes to his actual fighting skill, he's not known for fighting skill that much, neither is he for combat experience. He has fought characters like like Iron Man and War Machine when he's by himself, but when he's with other villains, that's when he really like fights characters like the Avengers all at once. You know, like characters like Iron Man and Cap and Thor, which makes sense. I mean, like if you lose to Iron Man pretty much every single day you fight him, what chance do you have by yourself against Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and Ant-Man and other Avengers like that? So yeah, it makes sense. So, you know, that's actually most of what I have to say about, Blizzard. So, you know, he can shoot ice, he can manipulate ice, if he has enough practice with it, obviously, and he has his own electrical powers, and he gets a slight boost in strength, speed, durability, endurance, everything like that. So now trying to figure out who would win. Now, honestly, when I first heard of this fight, I thought Iceman was gonna win, like, very easily, because I thought this was going to be more of like an Electro versus Electrocutioner type fight, where you have one guy who can like, okay, before I say anything, I just want to say I didn't know really like much at all about Blizzard. So when I first looked at Blizzard, I thought he was like an Electrocutioner type character, where he could really just shoot out ice, and Iceman, you know, has like complete control over the ice that he creates, and is just extremely versatile, and I just thought Iceman was going to take this like so easily. Now, while I do still believe that Iceman would win this fight, it's much closer than I initially anticipated. First, let me talk about the advantages that Blizzard has over Iceman. While Iceman does have like above average strength and speed and durability when he's in his human form and endurance and everything like that, Blizzard actually gets like a pretty good increase when it comes to the suit. You know, the suit actually gives him an increase of that. So that means he does have a slight advantage in strength, speed, and, you know, endurance and everything like that, except durability, obviously, but I'll get more into that later. You know, if they were ever to fight each other like fist to fist. While I don't believe that this would happen most of the time, because, you know, both of these characters will probably keep their distance and use their cold and electrical abilities when it comes to Blizzard, you know, in a regular fight. But if they were ever to fight, you know, Blizzard would get the upper hand when it comes to power. But, you know, Iceman is a better fighter than him. He's trained in the Danger Room. He's had, like, specialized training when it comes to fighting. So he's an above average fighter. So while Blizzard would give him a hard time, he's not helpless. He would be able to fight back, and, you know, maybe trip him up a bit. But again, he does have his own suit, making it hard for him to actually land some good punches on him, because he's not all too strong. However, those are really the only advantages that I feel Blizzard has over Iceman. Here are the main advantages that I feel Iceman has over Blizzard. The first thing is that his cold attacks are just going to be more powerful, and they're also just more cold. Like I said, Iceman is very resistant to other cold attacks, and because Iceman can lower his own body temperature and, you know, what's outside, you know, like the ice outside, he can lower that to absolute zero. That means he'd be resistant to nearly any of Blizzard's cold attacks. You know, Blizzard has been shown to, like, freeze people in an ice block, but that's like barely freezing. Again, from my understanding, he can really only freeze to 0 degrees Celsius, which is freezing temperature. And even if he could do it lower, I highly doubt that it's to the same level of Iceman, where Iceman is doing it to you know, absolute zero. I highly doubt it's going to actually affect him all that much. So while and on the opposite side of the spectrum, his suit, Blizzard's suit, is meant to withstand cold that's 0 degrees Celsius, or maybe a bit lower than that, but it's not going to protect against Iceman's cold. And while it might be, like, while he would need some force in order to actually, like, break the suit, I don't doubt he would be able to do that, because he has been able to make ice shards, or really he can just make any sort of ice attacks or anything, like, sharp enough and hard enough to pierce through Thor, which again is something that, like, really surprised me when I first read about that. So I do believe that he does have the power in order to, like, break his suit, or at least catch him off guard and maybe make some malfunctions. And obviously, Iceman would be resistant to most of the cold attacks. And when it comes to versatility, some of you might think, oh, well, Blizzard obviously takes that because he has cold attacks and electrical attacks, and Iceman really just has cold attacks and cold abilities. Here's the thing. While I do agree that he is more versatile when it comes to the different things that he can hit him with, being ice and electricity and everything that has to do with cold, Iceman is, like, he has been shown to use his ice much more effectively, and just a lot differently. You know, like, he's able to, like, create machine guns, any sort of weapon, you know, anything he really wants. Like, his only limit is his imagination, and he's been shown to be very creative when it comes to this. He can create pretty much anything as long as he has the ice with him, which he obviously can or will, because he can just create ice on the spot in seconds. So he can pretty much do anything he wants with his ice. Whereas Blizzard, while he isn't just a shooter of ice, he has been shown to make ice ramps and to do other creative things with his ice, like freeze people into ice blocks and maybe create some other stuff. But because they're generally ice blasters, it would take a lot of practice for him to actually master stuff. Because he's not like a mutant that has complete control over like the molecular level of ice, nothing like that. And while I do believe he might be able to make some constructs, he would need practice with that, as it's generally an ice blaster. That's why a ramp is very convenient for him, because he can just like blast ice wherever he needs to go. So while I don't doubt that while I don't feel that it's impossible for Blizzard to do something like that, I doubt that he has enough practice with it in order to actually do it. And even, like, it would be very tough for him, because it's generally a blaster that he's using, like, coming out of his hands. So it might even be impossible. I'm not really sure. And another thing, just with the combat experience. Yes, while Iceman does generally work with the X-Men, when he's by himself or just when he's with a smaller group of people, he is still a beast. He's been able to fight Thor one-on-one. And remember, Thor has like the powers of a god, the power of a god. And just another thing, that means that when he's fighting Thor, he's no stranger to electricity, as Mjolnir can, like literally create the weather and summon electricity whenever Thor wants it to. So he wouldn't be any stranger to the electrical powers that Blizzard would have on him. Let alone would it be enough to actually kill him because of his ability to reform. But again, I'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, overall with his combat experience, he's been able to hold back the Hulk. He's been able to fight Thor. And even though like when he's fought characters like Juggernaut and Magneto and other heavy hitters that fight the X-Men, even though he's fought them with the X-Men, even just fighting them or contributing to that is extremely impressive. Fighting Juggernaut. Juggernaut is the unstoppable Juggernaut. Unless you're like someone who's significantly stronger than him, you're not going to be able to put him down very easily, because he's unstoppable. Once he gets going, he keeps going. So yeah, and even with Magneto is one of the world's most powerful mutants. So even just to land hits on him or to dodge, like stuff that he shoots at you, that's again very something that's a feat that's not taken lightly, because there are a lot of very powerful X-Men villains. And with Blizzard, he generally only fights Iron Man, and the reason why he gets such good hits on him is because he's able to shoot electricity that can damage his armor, and that's not going to affect Iceman obviously as much, not just because of the durability, but because he doesn't really work with armor at all. And whenever he's fighting anyone else, he's with more villains that generally do most of the work for him. At least that's what I find. And on the rare occasion that he does fight the Avengers by himself, he doesn't last long at all. And like I said, that makes sense. If he loses to Iron Man pretty much every single time they fight, what chance does he have against the whole Avengers? And lastly, like I keep referencing, the durability. I'm going to spoil Iceman versus Killer Frost, by the way, which was another Who, When, and Why I did earlier. Was it earlier this week or just earlier? I did it earlier. Yeah, it's just... Killer Frost did not beat Iceman, and a big reason for that was because Iceman she didn't have the potential to put him down. Not only because her cold attacks wouldn't have much effect, but also because he's just going to keep reforming. She can't completely incinerate him, she can't throw him into the sun, she can't do anything like that. And the same goes for Blizzard. Blizzard just doesn't have the potential to put Iceman down for good. He's going to keep reforming even if Blizzard does get some good hits him and rips him in half, which is already unlikely because, he's going to stick to his electrical and cold attacks, which is something that Iceman has first of all, with the cold attacks, like I said, he is not immune, but he is resistant to a lot of them, and electricity, no stranger to that. So, even if Blizzard does get some good hits on him, Iceman will keep reforming, and there's just no way that Blizzard's going to be able to put Iceman down for good. So while I do believe that this is a pretty close fight because they can both shoot ice, Iceman's ice is just colder. It's more powerful. It's sharper. It can pierce through Thor. He seems to be more creative when he's doing things and just has more options because his ice control is just way more versatile than Blizzard's ice control. And his combat experience and near immortality, because he can keep coming back, that just seals the deal for me. I feel that Iceman just has more options when it comes to fighting, and Blizzard's just not going to be able to put Iceman down. So, in my opinion, the winner is Iceman. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please comment down what you thought of it. Give me a like, comment down everything you thought. If you thought I missed something, if you think Blizzard would win, if you do think Blizzard would win, please tell me why, and everything like that. Comment down what you would like to see me do next on Who'd Win and Why. The next season is going to be a regular season, so if you haven't suggested anything yet, and you comment down something, who knows, maybe I'll put it in the next season. And if you could subscribe to my channel, guys, that would be so great. That would really help me out. I'm trying to make videos as regularly as I can, and school's gonna start up in about a week, so it might be a bit harder for me to get videos out, but if you could subscribe, that'd be pretty cool, and just stick around for a bit and see how you like it. And of course I am doing a Q&A. If you've stuck with my channel, you'll know, and I've mentioned it many times. So if you want to go to my Q&A announcement video and leave a question or 2 or 3 or however many questions you want, I'll probably answer them in the Q&A that's coming out after this season is done. I guess you can comment down your questions in this video. Just please let me know that it's for the Q&A so I can save it for that. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I enjoyed it. If you guys do like this hat with the beard, please let me know, or if you prefer the other Santa hat, then let me know that as well so I know what to keep using, because I just thought this was funny, and it's obviously all I can find right now. So tell me if you like it. If you don't like, just let me know about that. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Your review means everything to me. I'm so glad you were able to spend about 21 minutes with me. And next time on Who'd Win and Why, we got Jack Frost going up against Killer Frost. See you all then.